Word?
Here.
Black,
Here.
Delphi,
Here.
Dittenberg.
Here.
DeVoy.
Yeah.
Lawrence here.
Too bad.
It's hard
I
to say
don't
no. You know, she didn't say, because she didn't have the treasurer's thing, and she thought I'll probably just bring it, you know, to the meeting. So, but that was last week.
It's foggy, it'll take her an extra couple of days to get here.
All right. Some guests or visitors, do you have any additions or deletions to the agenda? Pardon me if you want to mark John.
I did.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
But you usually ask if she wants to come.
Yeah, do you have any comments? Nope. Okay. No changes to the agenda? Everybody get a chance to read the minutes? I didn't, I would admit.
Move to approve when everybody's had a chance to read it.
Other than under old business, I did contact Kim Helpinus, and he is sent his share of royalties directly from the publisher. So what we have is ours.
So I should put that under, in my minutes this month, under old business, because you called it
Yeah.
after we met,
Right,
right?
so you
Yes.
shouldn't, we should wait until we get to old business
Oh,
before
all
we
right.
say that. This is just
I'm
approving what
sorry.
was said in these minutes.
I apologize.
So, that's fine.
And I'll put a second on Frank's motion to approve.
All right. Motion made and seconded to approve last month's minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we don't have a treasurer's report at this point. If we get one, we'll come back to that. Otherwise, we'll not move on to librarians' reports.
Well, it's really a shame that, and I have to plead guilty, that only 4 people showed up for the visiting author.
It was
And
a
one
school
was a
day.
child, right?
And one
Yeah.
was a librarian.
Oh, it was you.
It was Kelly and I and Amber and her little girl.
Oh,
That
okay.
was it.
Yeah, okay, well, she doesn't count, but the visiting author does.
Oh, I see.
Because we
But
can't
there,
count
that was
ourselves.
so neat, cause I purchased a couple of the books, and when I saw Katie McClellan in church, I said that we had this special speaker, and I wanted her to have see these books. And, that the speaker had said that how much she thought of Katie's mother, Donna Davy. So then, when Katie actually saw the book, she said, when I saw the name on the cover, she said, well, yes, it's probably one of my mother's 3 best friends. And she said, they used to stay with the author when they went to Milwaukee for teachers' convention. I mean, really, really close. So,
But this was after the opera.
yes,
made the
yes.
visit. So
And of
if
course,
had
Katie
known
was
about
in
it
school,
prior,
so she
would this
wouldn't
have been a field trip?
I don't know.
Could it have been?
You think it could have been?
Right.
If they were.
Educational experience. So is that something we need to look forward and look
If we get our
into?
authors, right?
If it happens during school hours?
You looked at the books, are you going to add them to the collection?
Well, are you saying you're giving them to the library?
Well-
Or you want us to buy? I looked at them, and you know, I don't think they come out.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but, my impression would be, oh, that's one of those that's really nice, but it'll sit there
Okay,
and.
because I have some young great nieces and nephews I can.
Okay,
I can certainly-
just those pictures and stuff, kids wouldn't pick that, I don't know.
Well, you have to go by your
Yes, exactly,
experience
that's what I
here.
wanted to know, that's why I,
Yeah.
but she did a really nice job of, reading the story and.
Should I turn the heat down? I put it up.
It's getting warm.
Oh,
Probably
it's
just
really
on the
warm,
phone.
isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
It's quite toasty.
So how many
Actually,
more
I'll
hours
just
did
turn it
Shirley
on.
want? Did Shirley want it?
Well, she's always wanted more, and, you know, we were trying to watch, because nobody wanted to pay her, you know, the
Sure.
Overtime.
insurance and that type of thing for a full-time, you know, like any benefits, because she doesn't get any benefits. And so, anyway, and you know, she knew I was conscious, because I'd say, oh yeah, well, you know, we can't get over so much per day, you know, and I try to pass the hours around. But anyway, she talked to them, and she's working over there now every Tuesday, and I think fills in sometimes too, you know, if it's not her days here. So, she's
I wonder if New
more.
London is looking for anybody, because Lucy isn't over there
Right.
anymore.
I doubt if she'd want another one yet, because you know, because, she works every Tuesday here, Wednesday and Friday, and then she works every fourth Thursday and every fourth Saturday, and then they trade a lot too, so.
It's complicated.
I kind of doubt if she'd want it, okay, because she's been doing more than just the one day too, I don't know how much more.
I saw those guys by that cable up there.
Oh, did
the other
you?
day,
Oh.
yeah. Two guys, I was just kind of looking at it like, now what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, because they
Did
all
they do
harmony.
something?
Yeah, they got rid of it, you know, they say, well, it's not gonna do any harm, you know, it's not being used for anything, not gonna do anything. Well, we're just a little concerned that it's out there, well, if you want us to take it off, we will, sure, that'd be okay.
Actually,
How funny, I didn't even notice it, but yeah, it's a good thing it's gone, because it
Yeah.
doesn't need to be there.
No.
actually, they did one more thing, because Frank came in. I said, I don't know whose truck that is parked out there, but I want it moved now. That's a yellow painted exit, somebody had to walk through the snow to get to their vehicle. And they both looked at each other like, and I said, I'm not kidding. I said, move it, so they did move it then, but
Well,
I
that's
thought-
one of my pet peeves.
Mine too.
Well,
And people will be sitting at the library, and I walk in and I said, well, why can't people observe that yellow line and not park there?
See, I just go direct, I figured, no, you have the cones. And there were two in the truck, one got out right over that yellow line. I mean, if it would have been just a driver, I would, okay, he wasn't thinking, but I thought, no. they're
I
gonna
came
move
one
it,
day
so-
and I was just about to say something, and there was only one other person here, the person who parked
Parked
there,
right
and it was an elderly man, and I wasn't gonna say,
Go on,
who
move it.
was so thoughtless that they parked right there in the.
Well, we have to thank you for the yearbooks.
Oh,
and
no problem.
getting them here so fast, and
Mhm.
so now, do we have a list again of what?
Yes, but I thought I emailed it to everybody.
I think
you did.
did.
Yes.
But,
I
and then, I'm
have-
sorry, when I first saw the list, I just took in what you gave us, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize we have available or something, you had something
There were
down.
some that we still have available that only have one copy of.
Right, and I
Yes.
didn't catch that the
Oh,
first
okay,
time, so I
yeah.
sent you a second one, but then later looking at it, I thought, oh, here it was all along, and I'm waiting.
No,
to
I
get
brought,
it, so.
what, did I bring 3 or 4?
At least 4.
Oh, four.
And,
Or I was thinking it might have been 5.
But one might be on a list of those you said the digitizer could
Oh, here.
supply, I don't know.
I have 1964, but mine is all written.
Yeah, 4.
Full.
A 64 is not
I
needed.
got one out, and
No,
then
so-
somebody, I think you had it, because it was Steve's from his freshman year, and I went through it, I said, look through it, see if there's anything in there that you don't care. There was one picture that had something, I said, we have to scratch that off, but otherwise it was, because he was freshman, so there
And
wasn't
what year was
much.
that?
76, but it was one that I think
That-
you
yeah.
had brought in, so, okay.
And 64, if that's what you said, we don't need that one, we already have.
I thought that was down.
Oh, yeah, 64, oh, that's right, it is. We have we have it, but some of the pictures are cut out or written on or something. So,
There you go.
it isn't in the best.
Oh, but
you
yours
don't
is
want
written on.
mine.
Oh.
It's written on too.
Yes, we do.
I will not.
I remember those days.
When I stopped circulating my yearbook to students, for students to sign, was when they started writing on other people's pictures. Defacing other people's pictures. You know, if they wanted to write on their own picture, fine, but, no. Not in my yearbook.
Yeah, right. And it's funny, some of these are newer years, you think they, you know, you.
I have mine.
Yeah.
How many are you
2000.
still missing from the 30s? Because I found another,
Oh.
lot of them, they're actually being displayed, but I don't remember which years they are.
Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 missing and one that was cut out or written on or whatever. So 30, 31, 33, 34,
30, 31, 33, 34.
30, 31, 33, 34, and then 35 we've got, but there's cutouts in there or not in good shape, but 35.
I'll check and see. I was walking by the alumni showcase, they had like 8 or 10 of them laying in there, and I go, oh, I bet you.
There they are.
Ah.
That's probably why they weren't in the save, so I'll look and see.
And 28, if there's a, in
28?
20s, well, 20 through 28 is missing, but evidently we have 29.
Okay.
But, any of the 20s other than 29.
I wonder when Keith Wall graduated.
Hmm?
I wonder when Keith Wall graduated. Because he saved everything. He's 90-something.
It's probably in the basement somewhere.
That might be a good contact.
Yeah.
Okay, should we put this in the paper now, you think, or on the website to ask for these other years? I thought I'd wait until I
Sure, why not?
check to
Yeah,
make
it
sure.
won't hurt
If
to
the
incorporate.
digitizer doesn't have
Okay.
them, we don't have them.
Okay, and it'll be a couple days, so Scott, if you check that and,
Yep,
and,
I'll try.
There
to
may
check
have
and
been
see.
some years where they didn't have a yearbook because of the Depression.
could be.
Because I noticed when my mom's freshman yearbook had a lot more pages than her senior yearbook at Clintonville.
Oh.
She graduated in '39. And so they were still putting out a yearbook, but it was getting slimmer and
Slim
slimmer.
back a little bit out.
Okay. And, we got that Indian that we knew, and then when Lynn Frederick saw it, she said, the one with the colored pictures, she said, I'd move out of the sunlight, because it just faded, so we just flipped it on the inside, then if that's okay.
I wrote to Phyllis and told her that he was gonna be on the main level.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, that's good, because they were very generous when they said we could have it, so.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, Elfie did come and put the switch in, so, should we wait till, before we talk about the,
Yeah.
we'll wait, okay. And Charter came and got that picked up. The lights on the tree, there wasn't a timer on it, so it was on 24/7. I asked them about it, and they said they might get a timer, but I haven't noticed whether it's going on and off now or not. But
Are there some lights out? There seems to be a kind of a big area right in the middle of the tree where they're.
oh, really? Oh, I haven't looked. I haven't noticed anything.
You just squint more and pretend you don't see
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
That's what I do, I look away and go, huh, is it up now? Look away.
Okay.
I don't
Blink
wanna-
real fast?
Yeah, I don't wanna change them.
Okay.
That's not our job, that's the city tree.
Right, so. Well, we got enough other stuff to do, I guess, right now. There's lights, it's just they're not complete.
And I ordered the books for the Master Gardeners thing and sent up and thanked him, told him what we ordered. Had fire inspection, we passed. Okay, the lighting analyst, I don't know if you've read that or not, but they said they'll put all new bulbs in, and the ones that needed, more energy efficient one, they put new ballasts in. And if it was a 4-unit thing, which I think, are these 4, or are these 2? I think
Yeah,
there are
that would be
4,
four.
but there's 2 switches, so you can open 2 or not. Anyway, so then they would change from a 2-bulb from a 4-bulb to a 2-bulb. And everything would be free, the labor and everything, but, the single bulb units that we have over in the children's area, and then we have some back over there, because they can't reduce the number of bulbs, I guess, they can get a better wattage, because those are those bigger ones. They would have to charge $20 a piece, but they said the ballast would cost $20, and then the
That's
labor's free and the bulbs are free. So
Minuscule.
I think, if everybody agrees, we'll just go ahead with
Did they
everything.
say anything on what the warranty is on those ballasts, if we're replacing those?
No, I didn't ask.
We did this at our school, our old
But-
school. They did all new lighting in there before we tore it down.
Mhm. Well, I definitely am in favor, because just to buy those ballasts alone is what they're quoting for the whole job here, so, yeah, I think
So, And I think he said there were 30 of the single ones, so 30 times the 20, I think it was around 600 or something I estimated, so as long as that's okay with everybody, we'll give them a go ahead for that. Okay. And, okay, now Sue isn't here, she.
No, I just got an update from her.
Oh,
Oh my goodness, I completely forgot.
Oh.
I'm not home.
Oh,
So I
okay.
assume that she means she won't be
She's not
coming.
Okay, well, I've got an envelope in there, so she hasn't even got it yet, but there was the book sale money from the Blue Moons in there for $37, and then the Kensington Club, $80, and then some miscellaneous funds from the donation upstairs. And, then I found a check for the Weyauwega book for $46.40 that, was dated, so I thought we better get that in. So, we won't have paid Kim yet, but I've got that separated with a line on our bookkeeping upstairs, so anyway, that's there for her. So it's $223.90, there. And, okay, Otis, we had asked him to get billed at the end of the year instead of in January. And, anyway, they wrote up a new service contract and had me sign it and send back in. But in redoing it, it's gonna be cheaper now than it was before. So, there's before it was $1,374, and it's gonna be $1,233 annually. So, I emailed again today, cause I said I wanted it by the end of this year, so we pay it out of this budget, but he said, oh, we missed the deadline for a new contract, by the time they get it, he said, you might get a bill for the old contract, and you could write that out, but then we'd need to give you a credit then. And I thought, oh, that's gonna sit there for a year. So anyway, so then I asked him if I could just pay off of this thing, and he said that would be fine. So that's what I'm submitting for a bill, is that page where it says what it will be. And then they said I should probably just hold it till I get it, that invoice. The invoice won't come till January, but, I would think it would be shortly at the beginning of the year, so. I said I'd get the check made and then I'd hold it and send it with the invoice. Let's see. Okay, and, Contos did clean the upstairs, but, it was a little miscommunicated because of the books and stuff. He wasn't sure. I mean, he said he'd
Yeah, he came and
I
said
said-
he would have to move all that, and he said, you're not gonna like his bill if he has gotta move all that stuff. I
told
said,
him,
forget it.
Yeah. Yeah, I told him we'll just.
In
leave it
January,
Leave
we'll
it there,
try to
and-
get that cleaned up.
Well, but the edges don't get dirty anyway, do
No.
they? So I just told him just to go what you can, avoid what you want, just go around it, and the stuff in the middle will pile up the chairs and those 3 tables, so that'll be quick. And so he's gonna come either Friday or Saturday this week. And, we've got a note upstairs so we can pile the chairs up, and then he'll just go around those. I don't think he gets that dirty out in the edges, so.
Christie and I did talk about that a little bit, hearing you say about cleaning up. When Edie and I talked about it, we wondered if we could send some kind of an email or something out to the other libraries. If you will need some books for your book sale or anything, feel free to come, take all you want, free. Let them do part of that work. If there are 2 or 3 libraries that are willing to pick it up, then much less that you have to worry about.
Yeah,
And
because
it's in a
we're.
different spot.
Well,
We've
we
had
can
some of
take
these
them to
same-
Goodwill, but we would have to get a truck and.
Right.
Well,
Where
we
were
may
we
not
at?
have any
We didn't
takers,
have
so-
anybody that
And we
was
may not,
interested
but-
anymore. Okay,
Not that I'm aware of.
The people in Point don't really have a place to store.
that's right.
I mean,
Yep.
their place is not gonna be available.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's somebody out there, but how do we find them?
right.
Sue Recky was going to check to see if there was a need at the county jail.
Oh, yeah, that's a
And
good.
I'm not sure if she did.
Well, if we're gonna send that email out, we can say if you know of anyone else interested in books. We're trying to get them out of that area, so.
And then, you saw all this email back and forth and whatnot. And anyway, we figured out what the problem was she wasn't aware of that, when they're getting a bill, they put a post, or put the date on the bill, and then the date posted, and then what it was. And it's been filing it back when it was dated instead of when it was posted. And he said they didn't want that to happen, but that's what was happening. That's why nothing was matching up. Because sometimes we'd get a bill, you know, like some of them were at 9/30, you know, September 30th. And of course, we didn't get to the 30th, so it was in October's bills. But it was posted or the dated 9/13, so they had it in September and we had it in October. And he said that we'll need to get straightened out. That's not how they want it, you know, so, that was a lot of the problem, and he wasn't aware that that was happening.
So you feel that there's some progress being made there?
Very much so. I got an email this morning, well, I can't remember when he sent it, but, the year-to-date total was not matching up, even if ignoring when things were posted. And I put in there how much it was off. Well, then he went through and he found a bill that was, for the, copy machine, but it was their bill, not our bill, and it got posted to us. It was 400 something. So when that got off, then we were only like $1.84 off, and that was a credit on a charge card. I must have gave us credit twice because we were that much off. So then I just added that back in, because it was only $1.84 or something. So now the year-to-date total matches as of the end of November. So that was a big thing. And okay, so that was what most of this was. So after all this, then I went ahead to copy and give you all that. He also sent me a statement, and he had said previously that the health insurance wasn't getting posted properly. It wasn't getting charged right, because ours was fluctuating. One day it'd be this much, and this month double here, and single here, nothing here. It was just crazy, and he was aware of that. But now he sent me a statement that said what the year-end charge, or it's supposed to be for the year. So I just subtracted what we had down already and put that bulk charge in December, which is in the new ones I sent out. And that's because I asked him, I didn't want to enter it until I knew how they were going to enter it, whether they were going to go back and do so much each month, and I thought, I hope not. And he said they weren't going to do it, they were just going to do a bulk charge in December. So that's on the new sheets, and there's a health insurance thing of $5,900 that should have been taken a little out all year. But anyway, so that'll be straightened out. The life insurance, I'm not sure, but that is so much smaller. It's a pretty minimal charge, but I have a feeling there'll be a bigger charge there too. And I was going to ask him about it today, but when I got it, I thanked him for that one email about that copy machine charge. And he mentioned that his wife was in the hospital, went in yesterday, so he didn't say what for or anything, but so he said he's not at work today. So later I did send it.
I'm glad all that made sense to you, Christy, because when I visited that,
Yeah,
well, it seemed like we were going.
Yeah. That's what it was. It was going in circles practically. It was just, you could just pound your head against the wall.
I hope you didn't mind the extra paperwork, but I was in and Christy and I had talked about this. And I'm one of these guys that, hey, if you as a city don't want to rectify with us, don't come to us if we're over budget or if we're off. And so I said, why don't you include it to everybody in case we don't have anything final? And I'm glad to hear we're finally getting to the point where.
If you feel there's progress being made, that's good.
Very, very, very much so. I mean, it's certainly not perfect, and hopefully they'll have it fixed before next year, so we won't have the problem again, but at least they know what some of these problems are. And so anyway, after everything was said and done, then I also got bids for the furnaces again, and talked, they were, he just updated them from last time. I didn't know if they changed, because I didn't go back and check, but there was a 92 efficient, 95 efficient, and 97 efficient. And then when this Focus on Energy people came, I asked them about this, that we were gonna be doing this, and so they had somebody call me, and anyway, they said they would have rebates for the, well, there's 3 bids, the 2 top furnaces, there would be a $275, well, not a rebate, but an incentive, that we could get back on each furnace we bought, so that would be 2, 4, 5, 5.25. No, 550 that we would be able to get back if we ordered one of the 2 higher ends. And first there was a deadline of the end of
We've got
February.
in here, yeah.
And then I said, well, we would meet that, can we still get it? And they said, sure, just send me the paperwork and I'll make it work. So if we wanna do that with extra money, now going back to how much money we have,
Okay, before you go away from this, I need to just put something on the floor. If you remember when we first started about this furnace, I also had the guy come in that does ours out of the valley. And his comment was that if we put in one of the 93 or possibly 95, we can stay with what we have for the chimney. But if we go to the high efficiency, they may have to start tearing into the wall, because that is
Yes,
with
straight
too
up.
many, yep, that's with way too many crooks and corners there. So before we do any finalizing here, if you know of somebody that would really be good with heating and this type of work, I'd like another opinion on that chimney business. Because I would definitely prefer to go with the higher efficiency, but I don't wanna put the high efficiency in and then end up with a problem.
I could call him and mention that to him too and see if he had any comments on that too.
That would
Yeah,
probably
good
be
idea.
wise, because I definitely, he needs to be aware of that.
Okay, what would, now what did you say?
It's venting is what it
Venting.
is.
It's the venting, and it's the first 2 seem to be okay with the chimney we have, but that higher efficiency, what was that, 97, I think?
Yeah.
That 97 one, they did not think would work with what we have for venting. Now, that's one outfit's opinion, that's why I said if you know someone else that you think is good and really knows this stuff, it would almost be worth to spend $100 and have them come in and give us a good inspection.
Yourself, can you do that? Can you pass it on?
Sure, thank you.
Keep your energy level up.
Okay. Okay.
I had one before.
Some sugar. Need some?
Thank you. No.
Okay, so anyway, at the end, oh, sure, I gotta have another chocolate. According to this now, the last, we have 13,000, well, I'll say 500 left to spend. I'm estimating, salaries and retirement, all that stuff, around somewhere between 6,000 and 6,500. So if we subtract, well, the 500 there and then 6 off, so we still have about 7,000, that is not spoken for. So,
And what do we have for utilities and stuff like that, that's gonna be coming up?
yeah, we've got some of those. And then John's lawn care, still, and talked to him, he called, he said, okay.
We're gonna get that for nothing yet.
Let her go.
And he
I,
even called back, cause,
I will
Jan,
definitely give him a call, but I'm purposely waiting till the end of the month or very close to it and say, now, I don't care what reduction you do on the cost, but we've called you now how many times, we've reminded you of it 2 years in a row. Now
Well,
you,
isn't it,
we
isn't
say
the way it
thank
is
you.
if he doesn't have, he's understanding that if you don't have
Frank
the bill,
told him.
Yeah,
it's.
I told him that last
Sure.
time.
You could call it a donation.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
so
Why is
I-
he doing that? I mean, is he
Trimming.
doing that? I mean, would you
Yeah.
consider that a donation? I mean, in his mind, is he doing the work
Uh,
apparatus or not?
I'm gonna have quite a chat with him this time, because this is putting us in a bad light, and I don't mind once being reminded, but having to do that for, I think it's almost the 3rd year,
Yeah.
because we switched that one year because he didn't do it.
Right?
So, to me, he should not have much of a comeback.
Mhm.
And I do think he will, if not the whole thing, he will give us a,
He's
Good
not
discount,
good about
so.
billing.
pardon?
He's not good about
I don't know
No,
how
he's
that works, I
definitely
just
not.
don't understand how we
Yeah.
have a business.
About how much are those furnaces going to cost?
Okay.
If I knew, I forgot.
Okay, the two higher end ones, which we'll probably go with, one's 3,800 and the other one's 4,500.
Is that per furnace?
Yes, per furnace.
Mhm.
So with both
And
of
that
them,
would
take-
so
change
we
if
would-
we go with the high efficiency and have to do the rerouting of the bank.
That's
Right.
8,300,
So,
Yeah.
so that's more
A
than,
little more than.
Then we
But
have-
do we
because we
any
have a few more bills here that
leftover
are
with the
coming
city
in.
that they're holding for us?
well, that will be very interesting. As far as I'm concerned, there should be close to $4,000.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
any
from
of the
previous
money that
years.
we've been putting in, he keeps telling me, okay, we're putting that aside when you need that for capital, but we don't want it in your budget. When it's a special, we'll pull out of there.
Right.
So as far as I'm concerned, and I have mentioned that to the city several times, we're still here. There's 2 furnaces and air conditioners.
Mhm.
And we could be talking $7,000-8,000 total, depending on what happens. And there's not been any comment back, so I'm assuming that money is there.
Yeah, and I wanted to, email him about that too, but I didn't want to know that this, well, this is more important, this just got
Yes.
resolved. And then,
And we have a little time on the furnaces, but I'll make sure money-wise where we're at with that.
And LP, we haven't got the bill for the outdoor switch yet. I ordered copy paper and paper clips from the city. I figured we'd buy some more rolls of stamp last year. I bought 8 in December to use up the thing. We ran out of those, so I might buy 10 this year. We could buy some extra printer ink. Chamber dues, I think it'll be $71. I tried to get that today, but she sent me a form and I couldn't open it, so I have to deal with this, so. I asked her if she could send it different, and she hasn't resent it yet. We still have 2 computers that are really supposed to be replaced, but I think I just soon put it off for next year if we got money to spend somewhere else, because otherwise there were 4 computers for the same year. This way at least be 2 years apart, or, you know. And of course the 2 furnaces, and then I'll have more charge cards coming in, $300-400 probably, because I, said for membership for the WLA, was there something else that I did this? Anyway, so, you know, there is other things here, but like if and when we decide to do this furnace, you know, I think, you know, we could tell them to bill us, you know, in December, but not have it due until January, so we could, you know, take some out of this year's budget and some out of next, if we needed to, or whatever, so that would be a little more flexible there.
Frank, what was the number for that? Where you were talking about for getting the extra money?
That was my question too.
For getting the extra money?
Right. Is it,
from the city, the
is
capital.
it
Carryover
contingency
It
or
would be-
building
no.
maintenance or
No,
what?
it's money from previous
It's something
years.
that's not even in here.
Right.
And because we had talked at that time, okay, we need capital expenditure in here, we're gonna need $3,000-4,000 a year, because we're starting to have to replace windows and what have you. And that's when Patrick had said, well, then why don't you, as you're turning in your fines
Fine money.
monthly and everything else, we'll put that in there and we'll have that sitting, so when you need it, this is where we're going to pull. But right now, I have no idea what kind of money we're talking about.
And
But
that
I
would-
certainly could find out.
So it's capital expenditures, but it's not in the budget.
Correct.
Right.
That's about the way I understood
Yeah,
it.
because it's like the fine account and the
Yep.
book replacement account, and right now, we have $7,463 in there. That includes the town of, Weyauwega donation of $1,000, and it also includes the E-rate, which is almost $800, and, but it's money, library money, but it's separate and not part of the budget, cause you can't count on it, like the donation from town, you know, next year they might not give us any, you know, or
But
whatever.
this is current, this is just this year,
Yeah,
right?
this is just
Did
this year.
not we have?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
there should be
And-
2.5 years there.
And
Right.
last year, at the end of the year, went over this and we bugged him about this over and over and over again because they never, was that when he was new?
Yes.
Yeah, cause I had to have to put a figure in the annual report for that.
Right.
And I said, well, what do I have, you know? This is what I think we should have, and finally he just said, well, put down what you think it should be, because, you know, he said he didn't know what was in there. So, they went by my figures. So, you know, I don't know, I have asked him in the past, but, you know what, I've asked several things, and that one he just never really gets to.
Were you in the same opinion I was that there is supposed to be a special account?
Yeah,
And
I
that's in that special account, which means they should have a figure.
right.
Yeah.
But what I'm wondering, if the special account includes some of their funds too, but ours is designated, like this is library, this
Well,
is
yeah,
city,
it-
this
But
is
they
water.
still,
But
they should
they
be
should
able
have
to
a
But it
separate.
balance of
it
what's
should
in
be
there.
right there, yeah.
I mean, I don't wanna go year to year, well, put a number down, no.
Right.
We know what we're turning in, you want a number, we'll start
Yeah,
keeping
let's-
track. Well, I would have no problem, we'll keep track every month that she puts any money in, and okay, here's where we should be with this, here's where we
Yeah.
should be.
Sounds like
with
that's
that.
what we have to
And,
do.
and that's what we have been doing, really. But, you know, it's always nice to have a two, you know, so you
Right.
can compare.
Right.
Sure.
So
And
it's
so that's why they just go
corroborated.
with my figures, because they figure, well, you know, hopefully I'm doing it as best I can anyway, you know. So,
It's to their advantage
yeah.
to have the right figures.
Right. Mhm. So anyway, I think they've come a long way from where I was, but there'll be some last minute stuff, you know, cause these bills aren't in, and then of course when the audit switches, so I don't know if this is what we're gonna have in our back pocket for any extra funds, or if there's anything else, or if you want me to do the computers but those are only, you know, they're under 1,000 apiece, where this is, you know.
Let's check out what
quite
they
a bit
say
more.
about the chimney.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
I
is
think
an
we're
impor-
best
This
to
is an
start-
immediate need we
start
have for the
in that
furnaces?
direction,
I mean,
because
pretty.
we know
I
it's
think-
pretty
I don't
bad.
wanna say immediate, but if one of those furnaces goes out,
Yeah.
it's a 24-hour job to put the new furnace in, cause in this time of the
Right.
year,
Now, is
you
this
can't sit
from
without heat.
someplace in
Westlake
Westlake?
and Weyauwega.
Okay.
And I can say that the last time I was here checking in there, some of our venting is getting to the point where I don't even wanna look at it anymore. That's the part down here by the furnaces. So we've had water moisture problems along with everything else in there, and that is a
What's the
concern.
dollar number that requires us to have more than one bid?
I
Five
thought
or
it was
seven.
5,000.
Yeah, I did too, because we ran into that when we were doing.
But how do you consider this, one furnace isn't over that,
Right.
it just so happens there's two furnaces, so I don't know if that.
Oh, I
Does
see
it
what you mean.
cost-
One at a time?
Yeah.
Does it cost to have somebody come and look and offer
Typically
a
not.
bid? 'Cause we could,
Probably not, no.
Hoffman Heating from New London put in 3 furnaces at the funeral.
Are they forced air?
Yeah.
Hoffman Heating from,
And I go by there when I have to pick Peyton up from practice. And I mean, he has a huge building. Like a big pole shed, huge.
I've heard of them.
Mm.
So
They send out quite a bit of
they must
advertising
do
during the year.
commercial, I mean, that wouldn't hurt, you
Yeah.
know?
I can find him and give him a call.
And he's so, I know, I see Brian. That's what
Yeah,
he
that's
had.
what. Okay, I will call Wesley's and ask about the venting, and I'll call Hoffman for a second,
But-
It's HOFFMA.
But highlight the venting
for both of them.
for
Yeah.
both of them.
Okay.
That's Hoffman in New London?
Yes.
Just a brief note, we are having our ad hoc committee meeting immediately after this meeting today. And, but we will probably not have, it's possible we could have something for your approval in January at our meeting. But progress is going to be made. Right, Sue?
Do you
Yep.
want a motion to approve?
I haven't gotten anywhere yet. We don't approve her report.
No.
We need to approve the bills.
Yeah.
Yep.
One other question now, these last ones, are these pre-approved now? You know, I mean, I'm not sure how we do that, or do I call
Well,
for approval?
For a
You're
matter
the
of
boss.
discussion, I was going to say, how about we leave that to her discretion?
I think yes, because
Put need number one and then put down, I don't know if the right word is spend down or what, but.
And it's okay if I would, and I would probably email you about this anyway, about, you know, putting the, if we ordered this, they said next year the furnaces will go 5%. So if we ordered it this year, they'd ordered under these prices, and then they said they could hold it then until we
Mhm.
put it in.
But we could maybe pay.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, I'll just
Portion of it.
ask them if they can
Yeah,
bill
it's
us
like a prepaid.
in December, and then, but not due until January, so we can pay
Right.
whatever we want on it. That sound like a good, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, then,
Move to approve the
All right.
librarian's report.
I'll second.
well,
No,
we don't have to
we don't
approve
have
first.
to
We
approve
gotta
it.
Bills.
Sorry.
pending bills and pending items.
Okay, then, if I get the second opinion and stuff, should I send that out to a general,
Yes, I
email,
would.
everybody?
I would like
Okay.
that.
Okay.
I move to approve the bills and pending items charged.
Second.
All right. Motion made and seconded to approve the bills and pending items charged. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed, same sign. Okay, motion approved. Any correspondence?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just what I talked about.
Yep. Building and grounds?
I don't think that I have anything other than what we have discussed here. The only comment I would make out loud, before he comes back to do that electrical hookup on the air conditioners, I think we should probably start getting a bid or two on that air conditioner, the one that's making the excess noise that I'm
Well-
concerned about, because that could start throwing in. I don't wanna see us spending an extra $200-300 to get wiring into it, because that's not a cheap wiring, and then end up having to put a whole new air
Well,
conditioner.
if Hoffman's
If you
come,
get Hoffman to come here,
have him
have him look at
Yeah.
that, because he does that too.
give you a price on that too, if he's here.
Yeah, why not?
We did, Steve got the heat cable up.
Okay, thank you.
It's a little short, but we're gonna, I said, well, we'll try it for this year and see how it goes. Cause he's got it in the gutters and up on the roof where it belongs, so don't scrape the roof.
Trust me, I'm not gonna be scraping.
I didn't think so, and that's why when you didn't want it on the roof, I said, we're putting it on the roof where it belongs, cause we're not gonna count on somebody to scrape, so we'll just have to watch it and see how it works.
Oh, now I was thinking, now, should I plug it in? No, it's not plugged in.
Right, cause I didn't know the switch was in,
Yes.
so he had
okay.
plugged it in, and I said, well, I don't know if the switch is in, so then he came and unplugged it, so.
Okay.
If you wanna plug it in, but then
Okay.
you just have to pay attention, like, when it's, like now, you don't need that on.
Right, right.
And, you know, anytime that it's pretty warm, really, once the afternoon, and the sun's out, you just kinda watch it, you don't need it on.
Right.
It's not like it has to be on all the time, but,
It's just weekends that we wouldn't be here to
right.
turn it on and off or whatever, so.
And I would almost, I don't know, would you leave it on weekends or leave it off? I think I'd leave it off.
Personally speaking, I would say this, they should be able to pick up a weather report Friday afternoon. Take
Yeah.
a look, if the weekend is brutal, turn it on, leave it on all
Right.
weekend. If the weekend is gonna be moderate,
Well, and you are here Saturdays.
Oh, yeah. that's
Or
right.
on
So-
Saturday even,
yeah,
sure.
So it's really, if it runs Saturday, Sundays, it's only one day, and if it's, you know, I just know that if it's nice, they don't recommend that you have them on.
Mhm.
But
Okay. Okay.
thank you. And thank you to your husband for that.
No problem.
And I just had one additional question, buildings and grounds. You had a draft with that new door in the youth section. How did that turn out?
Well, I called him, he said, well, anytime you have an outside door, you know, you're gonna have a little air loss around, you know, and stuff, so I went over there. I went around the other door and then that door, and they really weren't a whole lot difference, but what concerned me the most was that frost, but since that first initial frost, I haven't seen any frost there in that door, so it was probably something to do with putting it in or something.
Christie and I talked about that also. It was cold when they were putting it in. The frame and everything would have been cold, and the frost could have been from there, so Christie's gonna keep a close eye on it. If it reappears, then I will be on the phone and talking to them, because for what we paid for that door,
Right.
there better not be any frost.
What about a draft dodger? Do we need to invest in one of them?
Well, I put a pillow down, but, you know, I looked for, well, I did saw some in Menards, but they were such little itty bitty.
I just got one at Shopko, and it's, you know, it's about like that. And it's got some kind of weights in it a little bit, so it's just not real
Oh.
easy to move. I mean, it's easy to move, but that you can feel that there's something in it to sort of
Mhm.
keep it.
Oh,
And I did.
whatever you think.
I don't, you know, I picked one up for our house. I thought, try it.
Mhm.
It might work there. I don't know.
Mhm.
I did talk to Irv Klum, and he will be here in the spring to address the painting inside and outside on that door.
Oh, good.
And Christie said she is no home decorator.
Yeah,
How
right.
did you put
Yes,
that?
yeah.
Because I said,
Oh,
what would you like on the
designing it
inside?
for
Because
the-
at one time they had that wood grain, the inside.
Oh, yeah.
And if she wants that, but then she said, talk to your
Yes.
building and grounds
Yeah,
committee and
yeah.
let them decide.
This
So,
will be Irv.
you decide what you want done with the inside
A lot
of the
easier
door.
just go.
The outside, I'm just
Solid
concerned
color.
about.
Yeah.
You said it was cool,
And
right?
I'm not
Yes.
picking
And I spoke to him, I think it was last week, so that's all set to go first.
So was there a decision on the color then? Just to.
He wants
Get a
solid.
solid, whatever,
Solid
something
color.
that matches
Okay.
inside, I think.
Okay.
A neutral color that would go,
Okay.
even if you painted the walls, that would still.
You don't want a mural?
If you're gonna paint it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and so he wanted me to get some more, doormats.
Yeah.
And so I got I bought 2 then, one for each door, and I bought something for the outside. So we'll see if that does any good or not, I don't know. Sometimes if there's something there, people stomp off their feet where, makes
Yeah,
you
I
think of
noticed
it
it
more.
today.
So, anyway, we'll see if that helps, and it's the de-icer salt chunks that comes in, that
Oh,
we
yeah.
wanna
That's
try to get out,
terrible.
it's awful.
It is bad.
So that's what we're shooting for, to get, not have so much of that in there, so.
Okay, any old business?
Yes. I emailed Kim Hiltomus and he got back to me right away. He receives his share of royalties directly from Arcadia Publishing. So when we get a check from them, it's ours.
Oh, and I noticed that you cut the rain gutter thing off of the front
Yes.
too so
Yep.
it will drain, cause before it was.
Yeah,
wasn't draining.
you just cut it off where it was starting to bend,
Yeah.
and we said, we'll go with that for the winter, and granted, it's not long, but I think he did, I said, was there a clog in there, and he said, yeah.
Yeah, cause that
I'm
was,
hoping it'll.
and it did run the other day when, when
It
it was
came down
melting,
then?
yeah,
Oh,
it
good.
came down, cause I went out and said, oh, the ring is working.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I had a question about our speaker the other day. I wondered if she should get any kind of little thank you, money,
The
a
awesome.
small amount for coming and doing her program, even though nobody showed up. And even though she did meet a couple of her old classmates in Weyauwega the night before,
Did,
Still,
who
she
instigated
came
it?
from Bloomer.
Did we ask, or did she offer?
she offered to come.
Yeah, she
Okay.
did it, and then we worked around her schedule.
Yeah.
Would that be considered adult programming?
I would think children, wouldn't you? Because
Was
they
it
are
a
children's
children's?
books.
Okay. We probably
And
don't have money left.
maybe just a thank you would be sufficient?
We got a
It-
little
a
money.
written-
I don't know if Kelly did that or not, but she may have, but I can
Or
ask.
on
could
a
ask
gift
her.
card or something.
Well, I would think between the travel and everything else, I would almost suggest we give her a $50 thank you gift certificate, however you wanna put it. I mean, that is a couple nights, if you said she met her classmates the night before.
Or just couldn't you just send her a check and then she can?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I think that's a good idea.
And how much?
Is that a motion?
Well, I would make it a motion, it was more discussion than motion, but I see enough heads shaking up and down, so I moved that we
All right.
give her a check for $50 along with a thank you card.
I'll second.
And,
Okay, motion made and seconded to send $50 for the thank you card to Sistina, is that her name? Sissidic or something like that.
And she has written, you know, things for adults too, so, including some, bodice rippers, I think you call them.
Yeah.
Which she writes under a different name.
Oh, that's what
So,
said,
you know, she
because
might come
was-
and talk about how to get started as a writer, or, you know, she could do a program for us at some other time,
Mhm.
so.
Okay. And then I'll add this to the bills and before I take it down, then I'll get something
Yeah.
written up for that, so.
So did that carry? Oh,
No, motion made and seconded to send the $50 and a thank you to the author. All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? All right, motion carried. Any other new business?
If not, I move we adjourn.
All right. Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to adjourn at 4:53 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I forgot, I bought this, this is